I'm so excited to make the Cheerful Stockings with you today. It is a free pattern on my blog and I'll put the link here. And I also did make this in collaboration with Lion Brand Yarn. So there is a kit of it. You can buy the yarn and get the pattern for free on their website. And I'll put a link to that as the first comment and also in the description. My name is Rachel Alford from Cozy Nooks Designs, and these knit stockings, I wanted them to look like the joyful crochet stockings. And so I used the bubble stitch to try to make it look kind of like a granny square, and I think I did a pretty good job making it look like a sister pattern. So let me know in the comments what you think about it. Let's jump right in and let's make the Cheerful Stockings. These are the materials you'll need for the Cheerful Stockings. Of course, it does make 2 different stockings. And so we are going to have 5 skeins of Color Theory by Lion Brand Yarn, size 8, 5.0 millimeter knitting needles. These are 16-inch circular needles. My Addy Flex Flip double pointed needles, scissors, tapestry needle, and some stitch markers. Looking at the cuff of my stocking right now, it almost looks like a hat, but I am just doing knit 2, purl 2, and it's making this ribbed cuff portion. And I just have a few more stitches, well, I guess several more stitches, until I reach the end of my round. You need to do 2.5 inches for the cuff, or 15 rows. That's what it works out to be for me. So this is my 15th row, and then I'm going to switch to my next color and do the bubble stitch. And I have a full in-depth tutorial of how to do the bubble stitch, so you can check that out here. And I'll show you how to do it, but I will quickly show you how to get the colors changed and started so we can continue on in the leg portion of the stocking. Okay, so I have 2 more stitches. I have 2 purls left. So there's 1, 2. I'm going to move my marker. And now I'm ready to do my knit round with my new color. So I'm going to switch colors, inserting my hook, grabbing my new color. I'm doing white for this part. And then I'm going to do my knit round here. So that is how you change colors and continue on down for the leg portion. Again, check out the bubble stitch tutorial. That is super helpful. But you do 5 rows of knit in the one color. So I'm going to do white here. 5 rows, and then you do your bubble portion in the new color. So in this stocking here, it's blue that drops down and cinches it. So check out the bubble stitch tutorial, but I am going to knit all the way down. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 bubble rows for my leg, and then we will work the Afterthought heel. I'll show you how to do this portion right here. So we'll pick back up right there. So I said I would meet back up on the round right before we do our Afterthought heel, because it's just a little bit different. Normally we would be doing the bubble row with a new color, but if we did do it with a new color, then we would have a blue right here for the bubble, and that would look weird. So we are actually needing to do an extra round with white. So this round has 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of white, which usually it's only 6. So I wanted to point that out. So I'm doing my knit 3 and then knit 4 below. And I've reached the point where I need to do my 4 below, and you can see that I'm using white. Normally I would use a different color, a contrasting color. But like I said, that would look weird if we split the heel like that. So you can see I just did a knit 4 below. Let me show you again how to do that. 1, 2, 3, and then I take my right needle and I go into the stitch. So here's my first row of white, 2. So I go into that stitch through the center, and then I take it off my left needle, and then I ladder down so that there are 4 ladders, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the stitch that I'm in, and then I just knit. And that's how you do that stitch. So 2, 3, and here it is again. Ladder down and knit. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to finish the row by doing this. Knit 4 below. Like that. All right, so now we are to our Afterthought heel portion, and so we need a length of scrap yarn. I am just using my mustard color here that I used for the cuff because that's what the heel will eventually be, the color. So I'm just going to cut a length of yarn, and I am going to knit 34 stitches. And this is just a placeholder for my live stitches, and then we will work this heel at the end. After we've done the toe and completed, then we will go back and unstitch right here and here, and then work the heel. So that's how you work an Afterthought heel. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So here are my 34 live stitches, and I have 34 stitches left in the round. So I need to complete this in my new color in the stitch pattern that I'm working on. So in this example, it's blue. I need to have blue to complete this round. So you can see this is my finished stocking. This is the toe here. So I essentially am doing this part of the round, the blue. So this bubble has an extra row of color when compared to the other pattern stitches. So this is a little bit taller because it has that extra round of blue, but we have to do it in some color because right here are the stitch holder live stitches. So we have to complete the round in blue. So grabbing the next color, for me it is blue. I'm going to insert my hook, grab my new color, and knit around. So you just complete the round in the new color and then continue on in the pattern with the different stitches and colors and doing the bubble rows, and you should work until the foot of the stocking measures 6 inches. And once we do that, then we will work on the toe together. So let me just finish this round here. And then I'm going to do 5 more rounds of blue and then switch to my cranberry color here and do a bubble row. And that will get me back on track to follow the normal 6 round repeat. All right, nearly there at the round end. Just a few more stitches. There we go. And so now I have my placeholder scrap yarn, and I'm just going to work into them like it is normal. Let me tighten up these tails. There we go. So I'm just going to be working into the scrap yarn for all 34 stitches, and then when we are ready to work the Afterthought heel, after we've done the toe, then we are going to put double pointed needles on this side in the white, those stitches, and then also into the blue stitches, so 2 sets of needles, and then we will unstitch, we'll cut the mustard scrap yarn out, and then we will work in around to complete the heel. So I am just going to continue on with the foot, and then we will meet back up to do the toe section. I have done my first round for the toe. You can see here's my scrap yarn that I used for my Afterthought heel. You can see it all along here. So let's work on this second round for the toe. So it says we need to take the marker off, and then we need to slip a stitch purlwise with the yarn in the back. So this one, we're just going to slip with the yarn in the back, place the marker back, and then knit until we hit one before the next marker. So I forgot to say on the first round of the toe, I knit 34 stitches and then I placed a marker, and then there's 34 stitches left in the round. So we're going to work until we hit one before that first marker that I placed in the setup round of the toe. And then we're just going to slip one purlwise with the yarn in the back. And this is the repeat for the toe for us to make the decreases. It makes a nice seam on either side, and it looks really nice. So that is why we will be doing that decrease. Oh, sorry, I said this wrong. I said that I needed to do one stitch before, but I forgot, I misspoke. So I need to knit this stitch, remove the marker, and then slip one with the yarn in the back purlwise, and then place the marker again. Sorry about that. So for the remaining half of this round, I'm just knitting until I get to 2 stitches until the end of the round, and then we will do our central double decrease together. So let me get to 2 stitches before, and then I'll show you that. I have 2 stitches left in this round. So now it's time for me to do the central double decrease. To do that, I take the 2 stitches and slip them knitwise, remove the marker, knit 1, pass the 2 that I slipped back over the knit stitch I just did, and then place the marker. Like that. So now I'm going to knit until 2 before my next marked stitch, and then I will do another central double decrease. So I'll meet you when I hit 2 before my next marker. I have 2 left before I hit my marker. So I'm ready to do my central double decrease. So I slip these 2 stitches with the yarn in back knitwise, remove the marker, knit 1, pass the 2 stitches back over that knit stitch that I just did, and place the marker. Dang it, I just dropped the marker. There's no way I'm going to be able to find that black marker. Okay, well, good thing I had that handy. Okay, so now I am just going to finish out this round by knitting until 1 stitch before the end of this round. So I've reached 1 stitch before the start of my row, so I'm going to slip that purlwise with the yarn in back, and then slip my marker. And now I'm on to the first row in the repeat, which is knit to 1 stitch before the marker, and then slipping purlwise with the yarn in back. So let me get there, and I'll meet you back up there. So here's my last stitch before the marker in the middle of the row. So I'm slipping that purlwise with the yarn in back, slip the marker. So now we will knit the rest of this round until we reach 2 stitches before the end of this round. and that will begin the second round in the repeat of the central double decrease. So this is the start of the round. Right here, we have 2 stitches left in the round. So to do the central double decrease, we are going to slip them knitwise with the yarn in back, take the marker off, knit 1, slip the 2 stitches just worked off, place the marker, and then knit until we reach 2 before the marked stitch. And this will be the last time I show you how to do this central double decrease, and then I'm just going to do the rest of the toe off camera until I show you how to do the Kitchener stitch. I'm going to switch to double pointed needles once these needles are too tight, but right now it's okay because I haven't decreased so that I'm out of space. But so you're going to do the repeat of slipping a stitch purlwise, 1 before the marked stitch for a round, and then do the central double decrease for the next round, and that's the repeat. So every other round you will be decreasing by 4, and I'm going to do that until I have 36 stitches left. So here are the 2 stitches before the marker, slip them knitwise, take my marker off, knit 1, slip these 2 stitches back over to the knit stitch just worked, and then place the marker. So you can see how it makes this nice exposed seam or decrease. It's just a nice little detail for the stocking to make it look very professional. So I'm going to do this off camera until I have 36 stitches remaining, and then we will do the Kitchener stitch together. I have 18 stitches on this first needle and 18 stitches on this back needle, and I cut a length of yarn, and now I'm ready to do the Kitchener stitch, which is how we graft the toe closed. So the setup, we first need to, you can see the yarn is in the back here. I'm going to go into this front stitch purlwise, and then I'm going to go into the back stitch knitwise. That's our setup, and now we can start working in pairs. You can see how they line up, and that's how we're going to graft it close. So the pattern is knit off, purl on, purl off, knit on, and then you do it again. So let me show you. So knit off, purl on, and then I can pull that through, purl, this is the back needle now, purl off, knit, keep it on, and pull it through. So again, knit into that first needle, first stitch, knit off, purl, keep it on, and then purl off, knit on. And you want to make sure that the yarn tail is staying under the needles at all time and not getting tangled on the top. Knit off, purl on, purl off, knit on. I'm going to continue doing this until we reach the last couple together, and we'll do that together. I'm down to 2 stitches on each needle. So knit off, purl on, purl off, knit on, and then our last one, knit off, and it kind of fell off my needle already, and so I just need a purl and off. There we go. And so you can see how clean it looks and how it looks seamless, which is the look that we're going for. With a nice blocking, you won't even be able to tell. Let's work on the Afterthought Heel together. So you can see right here to here is my scrap yarn holding my live stitches so that I can now pick up the stitches on both sides and make my Afterthought Heel. So to pick up these stitches, I'm just using 16-inch needle on this side, circular needles on that side, and then another one on this side. You can use your double pointed needles on that, but I'm just, for the sake of ease, I'm doing it on these circular needles. I did grab a smaller needle for the second side I'm going to be doing, just because it's going to be easier if I do that. So so 35 stitches picked up on this side, 35 picked up on this side, and then 3 stitches picked up on each corner between the two. So let's start. So you can see we're going to pick up the V's below the live stitches. We'll pick up the right leg of the V. So to begin, I'm going to pick up this bobble stitch. It's kind of stretched out. I need to weave in the end still, so that's why it looks so big. But it's this bobble knit 4 below stitch. I'm going to pick up the right leg, and then I'm going to pick up the right leg for this next stitch, the one that's right below the yellow scrap yarn. And I'm just going to continue picking up the right leg across. You can see I've reached another bobble. So you just need to make sure the next stitch, sometimes it gets hard to see because it cinches together. So you need to make sure you're actually picking up 1 row below and you don't accidentally do 2 rows below. So you'll have a bobble leg, 3 stitches, and then a bobble leg. So that's what we will be looking for. So I am going to continue picking up the right leg 1 row below, all the way across, and then we'll make sure that we have enough when I get over here. As you can see, I have 2 more stitches I need to pick up. So I've picked up 33 and I need to do 2 more. So 34 and 35. And that is all I need to do for the cuff side of my live stitches. So now I'm going to rotate my work, grab another set of needles, and I'm going to do the same thing by picking up the stitches in the blue here. So the stitches on this side. So you can see on this side that we have a half V in the yellow scrap here. And then we have V, 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 V. So this is our half V. So we need to pick up this stitch right here. So here's my first stitch I'm going to be picking up, and then I pick up this stitch, which is the right side, the next part. Here's another one, another one. I'm going to continue on down, and I will have 35 stitches for this side as well. I'll stop about 2 before, just so we can do the last 2 stitches together. I have 2 stitches left that I need to do, so I have 33 stitches picked up right now. So here's 34 and 35. You can see that we have a half stitch on this side as well. So I'm going to pull this all the way through like that. So I have 35 stitches on this side picked up and 35 stitches on that side picked up. Now that we have both sides of the scrap yarn on needles, we can remove the scrap yarn. I like to do it with a needle just because it does take longer, but I don't want to bring scissors to the project. So I just take my tapestry needle and gently tug, unraveling the scrap yarn like this. So you can see these stitches are now live on my needles. So I'm going to keep doing this all the way down, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. So I'm nearly at the end of the scrap yarn. Just one more stitch, and there we have it. So you can see now we have this hole, which seems scary, but it will be worth it. Now that we've picked up all the stitches we need to, we are ready to knit our heel. So it doesn't matter what side you start on. I'm choosing to do this side because this is the actual needle size that I need, the size 8, whereas this is the smaller one. So I want my stitches to go onto this one so I can keep gauge. So using my contrasting color that I used for the toe and the cuff, I am going to knit 35 down across these stitches here. 2, 3, 4, and 35. Now I have everything back onto one needle, my 16-inch circulars. But let's talk about this corner here. So to get to the other side, I'm going to pick up 3 stitches along here so that I can avoid any gapping. So I'm going to do 2 stitches, pick up and knit 2 stitches, place a marker, and then knit 1 more, and then start doing these 35 stitches. The 3 stitches I'm going to pick up, I'm going to pick up 1, 2, and then 3. And that's going to help me close up the gap in the corner. So I'm going to do both sides of the V when I pick it up. So pick it up and knit. So that's 1, 2, place a marker. I'm going to do blue actually. I like to use yellow for my end of round. And then 3. And then I'm going to go to this side and knit 35. And then we'll do that corner together too. So let's pick up the 3 stitches we need to in the corner here. So we're going to pick up this 1, 2, and then 3. And that should help close up our gapping that might happen there. So 1, 2, place our stitch marker indicating the start of the round, and then our last stitch. Whoops, I split that there. Our last stitch there. And so what is our last stitch is actually the beginning, the first stitch in the round. So I'm going to now begin the repeat for the heel, which is very similar to the toe. It has the same round repeats, which is knit to 1 before the marker, and then slip purlwise with the yarn in the back, knit to 1 before the marker, slip purlwise with 1 in the back, and then place the marker again. And then we'll do our central double decrease again. So let's do 2 rounds together, and then we'll do it off camera. So we're almost at our halfway stitch marker. When I hit 1 before, that's when I'm going to stop knitting. Four more stitches. 2, 3. Okay, so now I'm going to slip this purlwise with the yarn in back, slip the marker, and then knit to 1 before the end of the round. And then I will slip it purlwise again. So here's 1 stitch left before my marker, so I slip purlwise with the yarn in back, slip my marker, and then continue knitting. It might seem like there's a big gap right there, and there is, and that's because I just haven't woven in my ends yet. So don't panic if that's happening to you as well. So now we're on to our central double decrease row. So this row we will decrease by 4 stitches. So when I hit the marker, I'm going to stop 2 stitches before I hit the marker. And then we will do our first central double decrease. I'm ready to do my first central double decrease. So I slip these 2 stitches left before the marker, knitwise with the yarn in back, take off the marker, knit 1, slip the 2 stitches back over the one that I just made, and then place the marker again. And then when I get to the other side, I will do another central double decrease. We've done that together enough times that I'm not going to show you that again. But I'm going to continue doing the repeat of every other row decreasing by 4 because of the central double decreases. Once I have 22 stitches on either side of my double pointed needles, because eventually I will change to double pointed needles. Once I hit that point of 22 stitches on either side, then I'm going to do the Kitchener stitch and graft it closed like how we did with the toe. So I'm not going to show you how to do that either since we've done that together. So we will pick back up together for the hanging loop. Now to do the hanging loop for our stocking, I am just casting on using the long tail method. I'm casting on 4 stitches, 3, 4, and then we're going to make an I-cord. So I have my 4 stitches here, and now I'm going to slide the stitches down to the other side so that the working yarn is in the back. Instead of being up at the top here, it's right here. And I'm just using my double pointed needles. So to do this, I always do it English style. So knit 1, knit 1, knit 1, all the way down for all 4 stitches. And then instead of turning our work, we're going to slide it down and do it again. And knit 4 again. I'm going to do this for 30 stitches, or sorry, 30 rows. Just keep on knitting 4, sliding it down to the other end of our double pointed needles and working with the yarn in the back, knitting down again. So you can see it's starting to take shape here. So I'm going to continue doing this for 30 rows, and then I'll show you how to sew it onto the stocking. I've done my 30 rows for my I-cord for the hanging loop, and so now I am just going to do a row of bind off so that we can sew this onto the stocking. So knitting 2 and then passing 1 over to bind it off. My SD card got full right at the end when I was binding off. So anyway, I have 30 rows here. Here's my stocking. You can see my heels down here. So I'm going to sew it to the inside cuff. So I'm going to fold it in half and then place it on the inside here. I have it about an inch into the cuff. So now I left my tails very long for this reason. Now I'm going to sew it on the inside. So you can see I'm just going to grab a stitch down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to grab one of these stitches on the inside and pull through. And since this is hidden on the inside of the cuff, it doesn't matter tons how you do this. You just don't want your yarn to show on the right side. So I just went into the other stitch, and now I'm going to go up the cuff and the hanging loop to really secure it in. So going into the stitch and then into the cuff, going up the side here again, and just checking the front, making sure it looks good. Yep, looks good. Continuing up. This will probably be my last one because I don't want my sewing to be shown. So now I'm just going to go through the loop to the other side. Don't want to pull too tight or it will cinch it. And now I'm going to go down this side of the cuff and the hanging loop to secure it on this side. So that way we know that it is actually very secure. So going through the cuff and then the hanging loop, going through the cuff and the hanging loop. There we go. Very good. And one more time for good measure. There we go. So you can see one side of it, and now the other side here. Taking the tail. If you don't have a tail, you can always cut a strand. So now lining it up and grabbing the loop and then into the cuff. So I'm going to do that off camera, what we did on the other one, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. So I finished my hanging loop by sewing it on. You can see it there. Now I'm going to finish weaving in all the ends and blocking the stocking, and that is how you make the cheerful stocking. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. I hope you liked it. I am Rachel from Cozy Nooks Designs, and make sure that you give it a thumbs up, comment if you have any questions, and subscribe to my channel for future free patterns and tips.